What up, what up, what up? It's yours truly, DJ Mike Marvelous of Marvelous DJs Cheat Code. Hey, listen, I've been getting a lot of messages just asking me, Mike, you know, we know you've been covering some of the new gear. We know you've been talking about certain stuff, but what about the newbies, right? What about the beginner DJs or DJs that are just learning how to mix? We need lesson 2 of the intro to DJing. So guess what? I'm giving it to you here today. So we will cover the intro to DJing, lesson 2. We'll talk about mixing and basic transitions today on today's Cheat Code. So welcome back, welcome back. So a little bit about mixing. So what is mixing actually doing, right? So when we're mixing, we're taking song A and we're mixing it with song B without breaking the vibe of the dance floor, right? So we're taking two songs, blending them together or mixing them together and keeping the same rhythm, the same pattern, the same beat. So those that are out there dancing on the dance floor actually can groove to the same beat. Now, us DJs, we have our strategies to change that vibe throughout the night. So that hence why a lot of DJs don't take requests, right? One, because they play what they play, and the other is because they have a set built out to change that vibe as the night goes out. But typically we're not getting that far into this. We're really just talking about two songs, mixing them together and allowing that vibe to continue from one song to the next. The key to that vibe is understanding bars, right? Most songs are created in 4 bars, 8 bars, or 16 bar sets, where there's parts of the song that you can break up into those sets of bars. Either it's 4 bars, a 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 8, or 16, right? You can take those chunks of bars and understand where in the mix of song A you are, and then understand where you are going to start on song B and blend the two together. I'll show you now how the bars actually work. So we have 2 songs here, and I'm going to show you that each of these songs has an intro with a 16 bar count. So I'll play the songs and I'll count the bars out so you can then understand what we're looking at as far as intros and bar counts are concerned. So I'll start the first track, and I'm going to start counting as soon as it hits this first cue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. So as you can see, the 1 hit directly on the start of that new part of the song. So that's the 1, right? I probably could have broke this up into 4 counts or 8 counts, but 16 works best because it's the intro. I know 16 bars and then my actual song will start. Off of that, we can break up parts of the song into various bars or measures, right? So as you can see here in this part of Serato, we're looking at a 4 bar count if we wanted to do jumps. So if I wanted to do beat jumps, I have it set to 4 bars, so it would jump every 4 bars. But in this case, that's a little fast forwarding. All you have to know for this particular song is it's 16 bars or 16 counts before the bass drops in this track. Let's look at track 2. Again, we're going to start the count at the beginning of the first cue point. So when that bass drops on the first cue point, then we'll start counting. Ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. So as you can see, 1 again is here. So you can see that both of these songs start off with the intro of a 16 count. Now, why does that matter? That matters because we need to know how long does it take the song to get from this point to this point. When should I start mixing? If we wanted both songs to kind of collab, we know we have 16 bars to do that if we were starting the song at the very beginning. And if you're beginning, maybe you should, right? In some cases, you can choose different parts of the song, but in this case, just go with the beginning of the song and then start mixing with the 16 count. So I'll play one song and then I'll mix in the next part of the song. So when do I start mixing? That's generally the hardest part for a newer DJ, is to decide when to bring in the second song. You have the first song playing. Now, when do I start the second song? These songs don't have vocals, and for those that are just starting, I tend to train people not to start mixing or not to learn how to mix with songs that have vocals in it. The vocals can get you caught up into when to mix, when not to mix. So I'd say learn how to mix with instrumental tracks first, and then on the next session, we'll talk about mixing with vocals added into those songs. So the next thing I'm gonna do is start mixing the track. I'm gonna play the first track, and I'm gonna find a point in the first track where I'll start mixing. I can kind of cheat, right? You can kind of cheat this out. If you look at how the beat grid is set up, right? And I wanna go 16. So if I was looping 16, it tells me where it stops. Now this is just for loops. So I could jump all the way to the end, and this is after 16 bars. And the reason why I'm looking at 16 bars is because I need to know when to start mixing in the second song, right? I don't necessarily want it there, but I will set a cue point there because I think I'm gonna start it there, not start it at the cue point, at the first cue point, but I'm gonna create a cue point here, and that's where I should start mixing in the second song. If I did another 16 here, by the end of this, you'll get the second song. If I wanted to, which in many systems, it'll show you that ending, you can put another marker there. So let's do that. So you should be out of this song by your fourth marker. All right, let's try it. Let's see how it works. Let me turn off loop, and here we go. I like to tell my DJs to practice. So you practice your stabs of when you're gonna let it go. And generally it's here. That's what you're doing in the headphones. You're just practicing. Just stabs on the beat. Stabs on the beat. And here we go. We're gonna start mixing right here. See it coming up? Here we go. And that's the second song. And we can do the same with the other. We'll let this play a little bit and we'll find another 16. Do some stabs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it comes. 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, here's the drop. All right, nothing fancy, just simple mixes, simple blends, taking two songs, putting them together, and blending those two songs. Practice that. Take two songs, two instrumentals, blend them together over and over again. Go with the first song first, then blend the second song, and then blend the second song back in after that song. So try that as your first practice guide. Next, what we're gonna do is talk a little bit about what are you using? Are you using your up faders or are you using your crossfader, right? When it comes to the crossfader, if you're using the crossfader, which I do, you have to set your fader to blend. I'll tag a video here to tell you about the crossfader curve and how to set this to blend. So when you move it this way, it blends versus straight cutting on. So there's a version of using your crossfader for scratches, and there's a version of using your crossfader for blends. This generally depends on what kind of DJ you are or what kind of DJ you're gonna be. A lot of DJs do use the up faders, gives you a little bit more volume control, and blending with these are a little bit easier, but in some cases you gotta use two hands, right? But I'm a cutter, I'm a scratcher, so I use the crossfader for most of my stuff. I may use the crossfader most of the time, I'd say about 80–85% of the time, and then the remaining of the time I may use the up faders, but I kind of use them in conjunction. But I typically don't leave that in the middle and then use the faders. If you're going to use the up faders, put your crossfader in the middle, and then you can use your up faders. If you are going to use your crossfader, keep these up or set your levels how you want them. always up, right? You can change your master volume so you won't peak out. But some like to keep a little space, keep a little room. But you will have to change your crossfader curve, and I'll tag the video like I said, so you can understand what that means and what will happen when you change your crossfader curve. One thing that you did see me do while I mixed those songs was kind of stabbing at the track as the other track was playing. So I'm kind of doing my counts while I stab, right? So if we're going to do that again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my count's off a little bit. And what I'm doing by doing those stabs is I'm practicing when to push it and let it go, because it's coming up here. Stabbing to the beat, right? Okay. What I just used to do that transition was a low pass filter. You can also use your knobs as well, your EQs, to do that same effect. It may just take a little bit more twisting of the knobs, but most mixers and controllers have a high pass or HPF, high pass filter, or LPF, low pass filter. Just think of low pass as all of the bass, and high pass is all of the hi-hats, all the treble, all the high notes, right? So if you, right, takes the bass out of it, puts the bass back in, right? So that's your low pass, high pass filter. So you can use that in your transitions, so that way your bass isn't clashing with two songs, or you may have snares that's going crazy on both songs and you want to take those snares out. You can use low pass and high pass filters as your transition, as you're transitioning between songs. So what I did is I gave you two songs, song A and song B, have the same BPMs. But what do you do if the BPMs, or beats per minute, is different, right? And we're just talking about the tempo of the song. This song clearly is 64 BPMs each, right? The .2, the .3 really doesn't matter a lot. Most times that's wrong. I know no producers that say I'm gonna make this track 64.2 BPMs. Usually they set it to 64, that's the BPMs, and they go from there. But maybe they'll do a half, maybe not. But in most cases, they're setting it to 64. This is just pretty much plus or minus, right? So depending on the speed of your equipment, I can tell you that the controllers are typically pretty much on. Turntables will slip, they'll change based off of what you do on the record or what you do on the vinyl, especially with the phases that I have here. But ultimately, if you had different BPMs, what you would do, and BPM stands for beats per minute, so how many of those counts, how many bars happen in a minute? That's what we're talking about here. Okay, so I've selected two different songs. One song is our original song that's originally 65 BPMs. We've upped it on our pitch adjustment roughly 3 to match that 68. We'll probably have to go up one more to match the 69, right? So 65 and 4 more is 69. This one is set to 69. So now these two songs should mix. I'll play the original song that we've been playing, the first one, and then I'll get into the second song and mix that together. One thing to point out before we start mixing is this: if the beats are not matching or on the same pace, on the same tempo, you may see me speed a song up, right? Give it a push, or slow it down. On turntables, you just press the side of this and it slows it down enough to match up. On controllers, most of the time there's a jog wheel on the side of your jog wheel. You can either push that forward or push it back. Listen, a lot goes a long way when you're adjusting your mix. I think the great DJs know how to adjust. You can make a mistake, it's fine. People won't kill you for it, but you gotta know how to recover. And the faster DJs recover, I think give them the gold star. Those are the DJs that are the best because they understand what's happening with the music. They understand which song they need to fix. They understand it faster than others where they just have a train wreck for long periods of time. So when you hear that, that means they don't know what to fix, what not to fix. So kudos to all the DJs that have fast recovery times when it comes to two songs not mixing well from the jump. So I did that caveat just in case I mess up. So let's get into it. Here we go. Again, I'm gonna go with the stabs. I might start this one a little bit sooner. Here we go. It's on. High pass. We're gonna do the same thing. A little faster stabs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Low pass filter. Here comes the bass. I adjust it. All right, so probably not the best two songs to mix together, but I'm just trying to show you how to blend two songs together, how to make two songs mix. These two were different BPMs, they were two different tempos. We turned the tempo up on one to match the tempo of the other, and we started to mix. Quick cheat code on the tempo, I probably would never go up to +8. I think some of the controllers even go up to +10. You can even max out at +12 and then have another bank or another level and go up to +24 for whatever reason. So maybe you're remixing, maybe you're flipping some acapellas in an EDM set. Just some tips there. But if you're mixing hip hop and R&B, you probably want to stay ±6, right? Because then it starts sounding like chipmunks. There is something that you can turn on that will fix the sound to make it sound like the original sound, but it never really is that clean. It gives you a wah effect a little bit to the music, and it messes up my scratches. So there you go about fixing tempo and making two songs mix together. So look, that's the intro to DJing lesson 2, mixing and basic transitions. Listen, couple of things. Take two tracks that you like, right? Find two tracks or find your genre that you like, whether it be hip hop, country, rock and roll, EDM, and pull those tracks in. Maybe utilize stems to take out the vocals in this. Because again, you're training, you're learning how to count those beats, right? You're learning where the track starts to mix. You're learning where to let go of the controller or push off or let go or cue up the track B, right? Practice this daily. And once you get the hang of when to mix, then the next lesson, lesson 3, will be about mixing when words are in play, right? It kind of changes the game, but to jump from this to that, I think this is a good start, a good foundation of understanding counts, beats, and measures. When lesson 3 comes out, we'll talk a little bit more about words, vocals, chorus, You're understanding music. You're learning the music structure, and that's what will help you blend better in the end of it all, right? If you can blend two songs together, you can blend 16 songs because it's a repetitive process. You're just doing the same thing over and over again, finding the BPM, choosing the song, finding the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 1, right? And lining those songs up and mixing them. So hopefully this lesson is helpful. If you have any questions to my beginner DJs, please make sure to comment below. I'll try my best to answer those questions. For my DJs that's been out here for a while, if you have any suggestions for newer DJs when it comes to blends and mixing and transitions, drop those in the comments as well. Let's help out the next generation that's coming up. I really want them to be able to mix. I know it's easier just to turn on, the sync button. That's fine if that's what you do. Good for you. I also understand that there are moments where sync is definitely good to use. So I'm not saying don't use it. Use the technology out there, right? But learn the roots. Have a better foundation, because you're not always going to have those items, right? Things will change. Maybe I just sound like the guy who says you're not always going to have a calculator in, and then there we have it on our phones. So listen, if you like this cheat code, if this cheat code helped you, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss another cheat code. Practice, 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 practice. Pick your genre, music that you like, trap, whatever it may be, and just blend. Just blend those instrumentals together, maybe record it, listen to it, play it back, understand it, get better, and then come back for the next lesson. Thank you all for watching this episode of Cheat Code. It's yours truly, DJ Mike Marvelous, signing out here. Cheat Code.